Yeah, how's it going there, Adriana? This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And I'm going to go ahead and listen to your exercise on thought groups. And as we go, I'm going to give you some comments. All right? So let's go ahead and listen to your recording. And make sure it's loud enough. Looks like it's lesson number 41.
Their motivation, however, was...
Okay, so what you're trying to do here is you're looking at an academic passage and you're dividing the sentences and the paragraph into thought groups, which is basically 5 to 6 stressed syllables or fewer. Right? So now everybody has a different kind of style with thought groups, but the main thing is don't pause too much. And remember that each thought group until the last thought group has to have rising tone, then the last thought group has falling tone.
Many of the sports which the ancient Greeks practiced and which made up a part of their own Olympics still survive in some way or other in the sports we practice today.
So you had some trouble with that last part. It's in the sports which we practice today is what you want to say there.
Their motivation, however, was for practice for war, and it is in such motivation that one can understand the emphasis on martial arts such as wrestling, boxing, the javelin, and running, while still including such less directly applicable sports as discus and jumping.
Good. Your pausing is pretty good, so no major problems there. Just don't forget when you have the items in a series, it's like wrestling, boxing, the javelin, and running, and then drop your tone on that last item.
Over time, as interest grew in sport and competition alone, new sports were added, but it was these core sports which stood the test of time and which have continued to be practiced in similar form right up to the present day.
Okay, not bad. Don't forget with your T sounds, like the present time, the test of time, make sure you produce that T with enough air there, so be careful about that.
Wrestling must be regarded as the most important practiced in ancient Greece. The very name...
No, it's the most important sport practiced in ancient Greece. You left out that word sport.
Wrestling school must indicate its importance in Greek life. Nor need we be surprised at this, for all over the world, in cultures far distant from each other, one can find styles of wrestling and fighting, for it is a useful skill in war.
Okay, the last sentence was a disaster, not very good at all on your thought groups. Let me read it with you. I would say something like this. Nor need we be surprised at this, for all over the world, in cultures far distant from each other, one can find styles of wrestling and fighting, for it is a useful skill in war. That's kind of how I would read that. So your pausing on that very last sentence was not good. You got all mixed up with your thought groups there. All right, let's go to your next lesson. So this is lesson number 42. And let's go ahead and take a look at this one. Let's see which one it is.
Throughout the student was eventually sent to talk with the principal.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me stop there for a second. Oh, I got it. Okay, so in this case, you're unscrambling the thought groups based on the logic. And basically, you're taking your noun phrases, your verb phrases, and your prepositional phrases, and you're learning to pause after these different groups. Okay, let's do the first one again.
Throughout the student was eventually sent to talk with the principal. Most firefighters report
That was good. That was good on that one.
having injury on the job fighting fires. A good accountant helps a business reduce taxes during tax season.
Yeah, I would say helps a business reduce taxes. Taxes there.
A happy couple knows how to solve problems during times of crisis.
Nice. A healthy couple knows how to solve problems during times of crisis.
Competent lifeguards can swim long distances in the ocean.
Good.
Police officers may make arrests or try the soccer games.
I would say riotous. Riotous soccer games. Riotous soccer games.
The intuitive pastor will deliver an applicable sermon to his congregation.
I would say they're the intuitive pastor.
Competitive salesperson will sell out to
Don't forget the S. Competitive salespersons. And it's actually a Z sound. Let's listen to that one more time.
Competitive salesperson will sell automobiles at discounted prices on most holidays.
So we'll sell automobiles at discounted prices on most holidays. There you go. And don't forget the S.
A construction worker often does road work at night so as to avoid causing traffic jams.
Yes, so does road work at night to avoid traffic jams. The R sound is still difficult for you. The road work, riotous, right, wrong, reap, rake.
Firearms should not be used by people with criminal records.
Good. Don't forget people. People, remember with the air on it, Adrian, it's kind of like this. People. 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 Okay, let's move on. So that's your thought group number lesson 42. Okay, let's go to number 43.
Upon approaching my house,
Let's see where this one is. Okay, where is that one? I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I got it. Okay, so. Okay, 23 you're getting into is called misplaced thought groups. This is also a grammatical problem in writing where you use what's called a present or past participle modifier, and it needs to be placed directly before or after the noun that it modifies. Okay? And I apologize, Adriana. I keep forgetting I'm using my flip video camera to make this particular recording. Sometimes I'm looking over here at the computer. Why? Because this is where your speaking task is. But then I should be looking over here because that's where the camera is. So anyway, let's take a look at these. Now remember, the tone. When you put that modifying phrase in the beginning, upon entering the house, the thief looked for a vault. So the thought group before the subject needs to have rising tone, and then you have the subject. So let's see how you're doing.
Upon approaching my house, I noticed a broken window.
Okay, that was good.
Red Valley, one of the remotest areas in California, boasts summertime temperatures which are among some of the hottest in the world.
I don't know, maybe too many pauses there. Let me read this one with you. One of the remotest areas in California, actually let me read it the way you did. Death Valley, one of the remotest areas in California, boasts summertime temperatures which are among some of the hottest in the world. So when I'm using which are among some of the hottest in the world, all of that, Adriana, is an adjective clause, and you need to put that as one thought group without pausing at all. Again, you'll say which are among some of the hottest in the world. So when you group the adjective clause together, that consists of one thought group.
Born in Atlanta on January 15, 1929, King had family rooted in the African American Baptist Church.
Okay, that's good.
Political satire found in newspapers across the U.S. is aimed at prominent leaders such as the president, governors, and leaders of Congress.
Nice. Nice with your tone on the items in the series, and good with your pausing.
A cousin of Charles Darwin, Sir Francis Galton, was interested in the measurement of intelligence because he wanted to increase it through selective breeding.
Okay, I think you're pretty good there. So Sir Francis Galton, a cousin of Charles Darwin, was interested in the measurement of intelligence because he wanted to increase it through selective breeding. Now what you're not doing, which is the next exercise, I'm going to be interested to see how you do this, is when you have a word like interested and then you have the preposition directly after that, because both of these words are in the same thought group, you want to use blending. You said was interested in the measurement of intelligence. I say was interested in. So I don't really pause between interested and in. I put those together almost as the same word. Okay, let's go to the next exercise on blending. This is going to be hard for you. Very difficult to do.
Would you mind turning your music down?
Okay, that's pretty good.
After I hold up the painting, tell me if it is straight or not.
Nice. I hold up. Yes. You didn't say after I hold up. You didn't pause after holding up. You said after I hold up the painting.
Why didn't Steve show up for our biology study group last night?
Nice. Again, show up. It's not why didn't Steve show up. It's show up, because the up, show, you group those together because of the blending.
I will be keeping my nose to the grindstone every day now.
Okay, good. Perfect.
Angela looks back on her youth with satisfaction.
Again, looks back on her, looks back on. I think you got it. Looks back on her youth.
I have many responsibilities I would like to get out of.
Nice.
The supervisor will check off each chore as it is completed.
Yes.
Mary didn't appreciate John's butting in on her conversation with Jack.
No, not good at all.
Mary didn't appreciate John's butting in on her conversation with Jack.
Better. Now, what might be throwing you off here is you might not even understand the grammar. It's possible, Adriana, you can use a possessive word and then use a gerund phrase after it. For example, you have John, apostrophe S, butting in. Butting in means interrupting. So John's butting in on her conversation with Jack. Now, I could say this. I know about her talking with Tom yesterday. Notice that. I know about her and then talking with Tom. I could have said grammatically, I know that she talked with Tom yesterday. So you can use a noun clause or you can use a possessive word plus a gerund phrase to express the same idea. Why do you need to know that? Well, for the writing and the speaking during the TOEFL, you want to make sure you're using a variety of grammar structures. So sometimes you might use a possessive word and then a gerund, and other times you might use a noun clause, right? So the main thing is you're using a variety of different types of sentence types and grammar structures to express your ideas. All right, let's keep going.
The woman understands why Mary was at home last night.
The woman understands why Mary was at home last night. Listen to that one more time.
The woman understands why Mary was at home last night.
Good. Oh, the problem there is the word woman. Woman, woman, walk, wait, went. Again, this is where you round the lips, Adriana, and you go, woman, woman.
Could you look on the map and tell me where Interstate 15 is?
That's not bad, but I would say the word could. There's something about that word you're not pronouncing exactly right. Let's go back.
Could you look on the map and...
Could. It's almost like you're saying could you, could, but it's could.
Tell me where Interstate 15 is?
Okay, you're going in the right... You're definitely going in the right direction here. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Looks like you're getting into... Oh, this is a tough one. Okay, if I remember correctly, the question here is, what is your dream job? And what I want to do here, let me find a pen here really fast. Okay, here it is. I want to listen to your speaking practice test one time in its entirety, and then the second time I want to listen to it in parts and give you a score.
My dream job is being a pharmacist because it allows me to help people and is a challenge for my intellect. Firstly, as a pharmacist, I can help people by counseling them how to use safely and effectively their medication. As a result, I can feel helpful and useful because I work on behalf of my patients. Secondly, in order to work as a healthcare professional, it's tremendously important to keep up to date. For this reason, as a pharmacist, I have to continuously study and keep my mind fresh. Best of all is that I never feel bored and tired because my brain is active keeping up with my studies. For the aforementioned reasons, my dream job is being a pharmacist.
Okay, you're going there now. Let's go back and listen to this one more time now.
My dream job is being a pharmacist because it allows me to help people and is a challenge for my intellect.
So it allows me to help people and is a challenge to my intellect. Why not use parallel structure, say allows me to help people and to challenge my intellect? If you use the word and, then you can put the two infinitives. Again, let's listen to what you said and then listen to my suggestion. I'm looking at your grammar right now.
My dream job is being a pharmacist because it allows me to help people and is a challenge for my intellect.
So it allows me to help people and is, it's okay. So you have allows and is. So basically you have the adverb clause. Okay, you're parallel. Forget my comment. It's good. Your parallel structure is good. Let's keep going.
Firstly, as a pharmacist, I can help people by counseling them how to use safely and effectively their medication.
Now that's a word order issue there. I would say how to safely use the medicine.
By counseling them how to use safely and effectively their medication.
Or how to safely and effectively use their medication. I don't know, I think the word order with those adverbs are not... I don't think it's a big problem, but it's a little bit odd, the placement of those words there.
Result, I can feel helpful and useful because I work on behalf of my patients.
Nice. On behalf of my patients. Are you kidding me? Very good formal language there. Very strong grammar.
Secondly, in order...
Now you said firstly, you said secondly. So firstly, secondly are both parallel.
Work as a healthcare professional. It's tremendously important to keep up to date.
Now here's the problem though. Now the problem is, your second point is it challenges your intellect. At this point of your speech, you need to restate that key word. You don't do that. Here's what you say. Listen to what you said here. I think this hurts your organization a little bit.
in order to work as a healthcare professional, it's tremendously important to keep up to date.
But you say it keeps me up to date, but to me that doesn't connect back to the idea. So you have to say, secondly, being a healthcare worker or being a pharmacist challenges me mentally or challenges my brain intellectually. Say something like that. That ties that second part of your speech back to the beginning of the speech, and I can now see that you've made that transition. So I think you could better connect that topic sentence in that middle part of the speech back to the beginning of the speech.
For this reason, as a pharmacist, I have to continuously study and keep my mind fresh. Best of all is that I never feel bored and tired because my brain is active, keeping up with my studies. For the aforementioned reasons...
You see there? So you never really stated that second idea. You never stated in there that, doing these things challenges my brain intellectually or challenges my intellect. So you have to take those ideas and connect that back to the argument you're trying to make in the beginning. So the second part of the speech, I think you could better connect back to the first part of the speech.
My dream job is being a pharmacist.
Okay. Now, of course, I'm being picky, and the IBT Human Raters will never be this picky, but you're paying me to pay attention to your language, right? You're paying me to look at your speaking, your grammar, your pronunciation, all of it, and to try to give you some feedback on how you're doing. So I think it was a good speech. I think you'll score high on this one. I think you'll score probably around 24 to 26 points out of 30. The IBT Human Raters might have some trouble with the second idea, not knowing exactly how it connects back to the idea or argument you're making in the beginning to challenge my intellect. So I'm going to say if you look at the rubrics right now and you look at this particular speech, yeah, I'm going to put you around 26 points here. So if you look at the low end of 3, it would be sometimes relationships between your ideas are not immediately clear. That's something that I look at in the topic development. So the answer is yes. It's the second part of the speech, when you get into the intellect part of the speech, it wasn't clear how the examples and the information that you were using there connected back to the beginning of the speech, but everything else was perfect. That's the only thing that I could find that might cause some trouble in your score. All right, so I'm going to say you're probably right around 26 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. Now, at the very end of this video, I got to tell you something now. You have what I call tenacity. Tenacity. Let's take a look at what this word means for just a minute. And this is, when I think of tenacity, I think of you. Okay, here's a definition of tenacity. Okay, it says, here are some related words: doggedness, perseverance, persistence. Here's another one: holding or grasping firmly, forceful, holding together, tending to stick or adhere to something. This is what you do. You want to pass the TOEFL, you want to get 26, you're not giving up until you reach that goal. That's exactly what you're doing, and that's exactly what tenacity means. Do you realize what you just did here? You have now completed all of my Speak Clearly lessons, all 48 of them. And you recorded all of those responses, and you gave me a chance to evaluate all of that and to give you feedback in those areas. You have completed, I think, close to 60 different pronunciation and speaking tasks, and you're not done yet. Now, I'm telling you, if anybody deserves to pass the TOEFL test, you do. Now, I'm going to give you some advice. When you take the test, if you take the test and you get a score of 24. However, if you feel that you answered all of the questions and you didn't leave out any information, especially on those integrated tasks, and you feel like you did a very good job, and if you think the only reason that you might have scored lower than 26 is because of pronunciation, I would encourage you to ask the TOEFL for a rescore. Now, of course, you want to make sure you pass all other sections. If you pass the reading, if you pass the listening, if you pass the writing, and then if you only get 24 on the speaking, and that's the only section holding you back, ask for a rescore. This has happened to some of my students before, and they were very good, just like you. There's nobody that's as better there's nobody who is as good as you that I've been teaching over the last few months. You're right up there, Adriana, one of my top students, and you should be able to reach that goal of 26. I got a really good feeling, but don't get too confident. You know, you want to prepare, keep preparing. I don't know when your TOEFL date is, but keep practicing. Keep doing the independent and integrated speaking practice tests. Do them over and over and over. You can even do some of your own. If you want to do an independent speaking practice test that's not in my course, that's fine. You can do it. And hopefully, the next time you take the TOEFL test, you will be able to reach your goal. All right? Anyway, thank you for being a great student. And I do admire your tenacity, your doggedness, your perseverance, your refusal to give up.